Hi, I'm Troy Colmer, and welcome to the Global Health Rebellion. We've had a name change from the Freedom Network because we are wanting to start something big. I think the only way that we can get this thing rolling is to get the Health Rebellion going. So our mission is to help you get in the best shape of your life, both in mind and body. That's the whole mission of this podcast, the whole mission of the Become Limitless community and everything that I do. And that's all I want is for you to be in the best shape of your life, because what that will do is raise your vibration, which will in turn raise the vibration of humanity. In that way, we will be able to just live, all of us will be able to live an extraordinary life. And today, I've got our good guest back on, our resident hypnotherapist and human by design specialist is Lucy Ellis. This is part two. We already did part one, so I hope you enjoyed that. So this is part two, and she's going to let me have it with this with my birth chart. And I told her, don't hold back, just let it rip. So we'll see what it says. How are you going, Lucy?
I'm really well, thank you, Troy. All the better
Yeah,
for sitting here and chatting to you.
yeah. Well, don't hold back on the chart. Let me take it with both smoke and barrels.
There is nothing bad about any charts. Every
Okay.
chart is unique and special, and I think that's the beauty of learning our unique energetic blueprint is that it's another way that we can really fall in love with ourselves and protect our energy as well.
And you used the word unique. That definitely fits me. I'm a very unique individual.
There's only one Troy-shaped hole in the universe, Troy
Yeah, that's
Colmer-shaped
right.
hole in the universe, and
Yeah,
it's for
and they've
you.
and
That's
they've
right.
tried to plug it, but they just can't.
You reckon they want to make copies of it?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I think they want to press delete.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Lucy is going to this is very interesting because my thoughts are now like I was never into this astrology thing or and because I always thought that, well, I know that we are programmed and we know that we live in a program, and that we're programmable. So this all makes sense that the astrology thing would work. And so I'm just thinking, like, if a young person, this is what I've been mulling over for the last week or two. If a young person had their chart done and knew their direction that it could go in, that would be free flowing for them, if that would help them. Before we start the chart again, I think we may have covered this in the last podcast, but I'd just like to go over it again.
Yeah, yeah. I, yeah, I've only been doing this human design for 3 years now. And so my children are 20, 18, and 16. So I've already stuffed them up, haven't I?
Yeah, well, that's like me. Yeah, I've already put the programming. I missed the 0
Damn
to
it.
7 part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so when I first found out, I was like, oh man, wouldn't this be amazing if I could have, raised my children according to their design? So it's not so much saying, you know, this is the direction for you, but it's going, this is each one of them have their own unique way of being in this world. And if
Yeah,
I could have only just supported that without trying to put them in a box, as I think we all, even with our best intentions, we still manage to kind of somehow box them as well, even though we don't want to be boxed.
well, I didn't know about the box thing when our kids, because I'm only new to this. I'm only 8 years in, so yeah, my youngest is 23, so yeah, I totally missed the boat. And
Mhm.
so I didn't know about the box. I was the box. I was in the box. And then I
Yeah.
opened the lid up and then I worked out, oh, there's all these other boxes. So, so do you think that would that be a real thing if you could if you knew their path, would that make their path easier? That's or not. I suppose not easy is not even the right word, is it? It's flowing, like a flowing.
Mm. I think because one of the beautiful things about learning about your human design, which I really hope that you get a taste of today, is that it's like almost a permission slip to go, oh, thank goodness, I can just be that. I've always been like that, but I've always thought that there was a problem with me because
Yeah,
I was like that. But now I can just relax into being me. So it's more so much not giving them a hard direction, but like celebrating just who they are, letting them be who they are in this world, and not, yeah, taking them completely off path. And um, inside the human design system, there's things called gates and channels. And to me, these are like your little gifts, your energetic gifts that you have. And just even them, not even understanding it on an intellectual level, but supporting them to live that out, because kids don't need to be told. Like if you look at a young child under
yeah,
the age of 7, they're already being their natural energetic self. It's, as they move along through school, generally, it gets kind of
boxed.
um, conditioned out of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here's a box. Get into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But they
exactly.
don't know their box until they start doing all their exams. See, then they do the exams and then they get put in their box. So
Right.
right, yeah, you're at the 99, 90 to 100 box. You're in the 80 to 90 box. You're in the 70 to 60 box.
Yeah, but
Mm,
even more, even before that, it's like stand in a line. I know you
yeah,
don't want to do this, but you're going to do this. You're going to sit down for 6 hours of the
yeah.
day, or maybe with a couple of breaks in
Get ready for
between.
work.
But, we're not meant to not use our body, especially children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
So,
why I hated school so much.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, if people like just say parents, for instance, and if they came to you, could you do something with their child, and then you could tell them, say, this is what I think your child um would be a good direction for them.
Absolutely, yeah. Or just support the parents to see their child in this way. And if they were so inclined, there is a thing called human design parenting, where you really just allow your child to be themselves and how you could best support them. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that would be amazing. Um, yeah, well, if you want to get in contact with Lucy, I'll have all the show notes there for you, and so I'll have all the stuff there. So, all right, well, that answers that question. So now the next question will be, let's I need to enable you to share screen, and so then we can share our screen, and then you can start to run me through the prognosis.
The prognosis. Yes, I'll just get
Yeah.
rid of my chart here in the background.
Yeah.
Um, all righty, here we go. Here's Troy.
Uh,
This is your
if
unique.
anyone wants to come and see this, it is on the Become Limitless community site, and also it'll be on YouTube. So if you want to go and have a look at the
Oh,
what my
yes, of
chart looks like,
course.
you can either go to one of them two sites. So yeah,
Yes, of course. I forgot about the
we're talking
podcast situation.
the talking aspect.
Yes, yes. So from our last discussion
Yeah.
last week, what can you remember about yourself that I told you, and what did you or did you not resonate with?
Oh wow, I didn't need to. I should have written that down, shouldn't I? Oh, we might have to do a little recap.
Yeah. Can you remember what type you are without looking at the chart?
I'm looking at the chart and I can't see what type I am.
Okay, that's okay. All right.
Oh,
So
yes,
let
I'm
me have a,
emotional.
you're an emotional generator.
Yeah, that's right. I remember
Yeah,
now. So, see, I just come back to me like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So for the sake of the podcast and
yeah,
for people that potentially haven't heard about human design,
yeah,
first of all, maybe will I just share with
yeah. Good idea.
we did talk about it in the last podcast.
Yeah,
I spoke about what human design is, or I definitely said, remember Ra Uru Hu downloaded this information based off some ancient and modern sciences. So it's based off the Kabbalah, the I Ching, quantum physics, the chakra system, and astrology. So all of these combined are creating the human design system. And we always start by looking at the type, and the type is like our aura, our auric type. And you can read this, like I think I've become so good. You can actually read people's auras in the sense of, once you understand the 5 human design types. I set it as a little challenge for myself when I first meet somebody. I think, I wonder what type they are. And, you can really harness this quite well once you
can you?
know what.
You can't see the aura though physically.
Oh, no, no, no.
No.
It's
Okay.
a feeling, it's a
Yeah.
feeling that you get with that person.
Yeah.
And so I knew that you were going to be either a generator type, like a generator, or a manifesting generator.
Yeah.
Um,
That would make
so
sense.
yeah, yeah, because of your passion, because of what what you're bringing to this world, that you've got a lot of energy for it. And I noticed this energy, and I thought, yeah, he's got to be a generator type. So the 5 types are manifester, uh, generator, manifesting generator, which is a hybrid of the manifester and the generator. And then we have projector and reflector. So there's about 9% of manifestors, and manifestors have a closed aura. So they won't feel very warm or welcoming. But when they walk through a room, everybody kind of gets out of the way. And then there is the generator, which is you and me. We're both emotional generators, actually.
Oh, good.
Um, and we're
Do
very
I need a tissue
warm, and
box?
my emotional wave's a little bit different to yours.
I
So
hope so.
everybody has their own flavor
Yeah.
of the type. And yes, mine's going to be I'm more like I just want to get all intimate and vulnerable and talk about all the feelings. Yours is not like that at all.
No,
Yours is
not even close.
yours is pressure to, and we spoke about this last week, pressure to make tomorrow better, which I just think is amazing, to considering the work that you're doing in
Yeah,
this world.
that's like spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And you've got to have that desire within you to create,
Yeah.
this movement. So that the generators are warm and welcoming and loving people, and then the manifesting generators, and the generators have a lot of energy, and then the manifesting generators are like turbocharged generators. Like, we've only got, I don't know, a normal everyday generator, but the manifesting generators have got, they could light a whole stadium up with their
Yeah.
energy, and
Yeah.
they're fast and they're all over the place, and they're not, I wouldn't, they don't come across, well, some of them do. You
Yeah.
can really see them move through life, and they're busy, 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 and they're kind of running off their own adrenaline.
Yeah.
Um, and they're multi-passionate people. They can do everything. They can be the director of the show. They can be the main character of the show. They can be the costume designer. They can be the usherette. They'll do it all,
Yeah.
And then the projector is somebody that has a, what do you call it? Like a penetrative aura. So they can only focus on one thing at a time, or one person at a time. So their energy is not as big and open as potentially a generator and a
That could
manifesting.
label all men.
No, it's a different type
Yeah.
of,
No, I know. I know
but
what you're saying.
yeah,
I know
but
what
it's
you're saying.
kind of, they're actually quite beautiful to watch, in the sense that they direct energy really well, and they're going to be our future leaders, actually, projectors.
Yeah.
Because unlike where we've been ruled by manifestors, from the beginning of time, manifestors have been the leaders, because we will go here and we will do this. And us generators and manifesting generators have all said, okay, build, 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 build. We've been the worker bees of the world.
Yeah.
Now we're moving into the projectors being the leaders, because it's all about, I know you and I know you. I have taken the time to know you, and I've taken the time to know you, and I've taken the time to know you, and I've taken the time to know you. And I can think about all of your unique qualities and what we're all going to do together as a team.
Yeah.
And so it's about leaders knowing their community, or knowing their team, as opposed to the olden days where it's like, I'm up here, you're down there. And then the very small percentage of the world, 2%, are reflectors.
Okay.
And they have like a Teflon aura. They're quite novel kind of characters. And things just slide off them. They don't really stick.
Yeah.
But they're fantastic, wise, crucial parts of our whole makeup. So they're the 5 types, and I felt like that was important to share.
Yep.
So people, listening at home can, if this is their first time knowing human design. So we know you're an emotional generator. You've got energy to do things that light you up. And your strategy is to respond to life. So there's lots of different things coming at you all the time, and you choose based off your generator, based off your sacral, which we looked at last time. This
Yep.
red square here, that's your energy. That's what I've got energy for. If you've got energy for it, go, like, it's easy. Always say, I like things simple.
Yep.
Well, this is a very simple strategy for you to move through life. Does it light me up? Can I feel it in my body that it's going yes? Then I'll go there and I'll do that. Is it not lighting me up? Am I going, really don't want to do that? Then this is the hard part. Say no and don't do that thing. And this is kind of how you, this is your strategy for moving through life, basically. And if you think about it, all the decisions that we make in our life, this can be very helpful for big and small. But if you're going to make a really big decision, just check where you're at on your emotional wave. You don't want to be making one up here, and then tomorrow, when the emotional wave goes down, you're like, oh, why did I say yes to that? And now I'm locked in for 6 months and signed the contract. And just sleep on things. They generally say with emotional types, don't make quick decisions. And then we can have a look at your profile, Troy. Your profile is kind of like, so we've talked about your energetic, your energetic aura, but now we're going to talk about your profile, which is like the costume that you wear in this life. It's your personality that you bring forward. And the 4-6, as you can see, so this is based off the I Ching hexagram. There's 2 lines to every profile. And you can see that you've got, if I just use my cursor here, you can see it here.
All right. Yep.
You have the 4th line and the 6th line. So if
Yep.
we broke the hexagram up into 2 trigrams, the 4 and the 6 are both up in the top trigram. And each line of the hexagram has different qualities to it. So the 4th line is your conscious part of your personality, and the 6th line is your unconscious part of your personality. And the 4th line is the networker. So I was kind of a bit sad when you said no freedom network. The person, so you will naturally be connected in with your network, and you're always, so you might be talking to somebody and they'll be like, oh, I need a plumber, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I know a plumber, I'll put you in contact with Sam. And you're constantly kind of doing networking in your mind every time, you know, people are talking to you.
Yep.
um and the 6th line part of you goes through 3 stages of growth. So it's interesting because you're 50. I'm going to share your age on the podcast.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
all
happy
right.
with that?
Yep.
53. So you have moved through to the 3rd. You've reached the top layer of
Oh, you
your
beauty.
woohoo,
I'm at the
you've
top.
ascended. So the first 30 years of your life, you're kind of bouncing around and making lots of mistakes and having lots of experiences in your life that you're collecting as wisdom. Basically, you probably don't know it at the time, but it's going to support you for this later stage in your life. From 30 to 50, there's a process that you take where you kind of reflect a little bit more. You go, what they call, they say you kind of go up the mountain and you reflect on your life and you look back and you gather your wisdom and you become a little bit more not in society as much. And then from 50 onwards, you become the sensei, the role model, the one that people will turn to hear stories and to have to know your wisdom, really, to share your wisdom. So you're in the perfect stage of your life to be doing something like this, where
What?
people really are going to be lapping it up because you've got a whole life lived experience that you can share. 4-6 people though are always caught between the head and the heart. Beautiful, big-hearted people that can get caught in their head a great deal. And my message to you is to follow your heart and know that you're always got the wisdom of this 6th line backing you. So if you follow your heart more so than your head, you're going to be well supported, you know, because you've
All
got the
right.
wisdom of that. Do you feel like, do you find that that you've spent a lot of time in your head and your heart, or you've had a battle between your head and your heart most of your life?
Uh, not really. No, I haven't. I would probably say I'm always in my head. I don't know. I'm probably no, I haven't. Maybe I should connect more with the heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
don't. No, I don't. I'm always in my head.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, let this be a reminder that there's a little heart in there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a
Believe it or
beautiful
not.
it's a beautiful big heart.
Yeah.
And you know what? I reckon if I was to ask Kerry or your children, they would say, "Oh yeah, dad's got a big heart." Like they would
Mm.
know your heart through potentially things that you do for them, like you know, you might do things that 4-6s are great people to love. My husband's a 4-6 and his heart is massive. Like he will just do those beautiful little things all the time, like very much acts of service kind of people.
Yeah. I would
Um,
say that's me, but Yeah. I can't. Um, I'm thinking if you went and asked Kerry that, she'd probably go, "No, I don't think so." No, she might do.
Depends
I don't
what
know.
day it is.
Yeah, yeah. Depends where we're at now. Journey. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, well, let's ask you this. Friendship is important to you as a 4-6, and potentially friendship is the platform for which you start all relationships. Um, so you might find, I don't know, but you might, I know parents and children shouldn't really be friends, but you might have just like feel like you're a good mate to your kids as well. Like, and um, maybe you and Kerry started out as good friends first. Everything kind of starts off. Do you value friendship?
Friendship. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, Kerry and I are good. No, we are good together. There's
yeah,
a yin and yang.
yeah, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course, of
No, yeah.
course.
No, she's on
Um,
there.
that's exactly right, and that's what makes a beautiful match, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 4-6s. I think I've any questions about that?
No, I think it's probably me.
Yeah, yeah. So you're yeah. I mean, they call the fourth line the opportunist, which is being connected in with your network and looking for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so wonderful, like because I don't have a fourth line, and I'm married to a 4-6 like
Yeah.
yourself. And I'm like, gosh, it's good being married to a fourth line. He just gets all these, I don't know, he just ends up getting tickets here and somebody's given him something over there and I just tag along. I'm like, woo, this is a fun
Yeah.
life.
Maybe I should use it a bit more then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Connect in.
Yeah.
Um, Now I think it might be a really good idea for us to have a look at the centers here.
Yeah.
Um, so if we have a look at the body graph, we can see that there are what we call all those shapes on the body graph are called centers. And you can see that some are colored in and some are not.
Yeah.
And so this is uh, where we see it colored in is where you have consistent energy, and where it's not colored in is something that we're always reaching for. It's almost like we want to feel. It's like we want that thing in the chocolate shop, but there is a window between me and the thing that I want. Or for you, it might be, I don't know, a chocolate for me, but for you, it might be a car or something that it's like, I want that thing. I want it. But you can never have it. And this is what I love about human design as well. It's like, oh, okay, well, then that's okay. Um, I can rest back knowing that I don't need to be a certain way. So this is where we get caught in the conditioning,
Yeah.
is the white spaces of our chart. So we'll just move through the centers, and we start at the top at that yellow triangle. And you have a defined, this is called a crown center or a head center. And you've got it defined, meaning, yes, there's a lot of energy in your head. So no wonder you
Yeah.
said,
Well, that makes sense then.
yeah, yeah. And I think this means that you've got a consistent way of thinking. And so, for example, not much can penetrate into that. Like you can't be conditioned in a way. It's like, no, this is the way I've set up, the way I think. and that will stay consistently for you.
Yeah.
So ideas and knowing things about things, you know. And the very interesting thing, which I find is such a gift for you to have this in our life, because only 30%, around about 30%, don't quote me on these percentages, by the way, people. I know it's a roundabout. I'm hopeless with numbers. Only 30% of people have this defined. So the rest of us, 70% of people, do not have this defined. I don't have this defined. You will be more than likely surrounded by a lot of people with an undefined head center. And we feel like a pressure to need to know. And so having you here providing, what you know is coming and everything that you want to talk about is very powerful for the collective, because somebody has to know shit. Like, we're looking at somebody to, and the thing is, when we don't have a defined head center, we're going looking for it, and we're wanting to, please tell us the answers, Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's a gift. It's a real gift. Yeah.
Oh, I got one gift. That's good. Can I wrap it up?
You don't want to know anymore?
Yeah. Well, if it's all downhill from there.
No. Like I said, there's no bad human design charts.
Yeah.
And then we've got the green triangle there is the ajna. And this is how we process information.
So this is still up in the head. So we've got a triangle facing upwards, and then we've got a triangle facing downwards, like sort of right next to each other. A bit like the macabre.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is how you process your information that comes in. And you have a consistent way of processing the information. And you kind of, you don't feel like people that have this open or undefined might feel like, oh, I can't do that unless I'm certain that it's going to be okay, because they don't trust naturally trust their way to process the information, where you might be more inclined to be more understanding, or that you can process whatever kind of comes your way through your filters.
Yeah.
Energetically, of course.
It's funny how the triangles, I was just looking at all those triangles there. If they were a 3D model, it's probably like a pyramid within the system, within the energy system. So you got one facing up. So that's bringing the energy from up above down into your brain. That's exactly right. And then the bottom one's bringing the energy from down below up into it. So is that the two triangles up facing away from each other? That's normal. That's a normal.
They all look like that. Yeah.
That makes sense, because the energy comes in through your heart chakra there, and then moves up the system. So that'll be dragging all that up, and then also you're connected through your crown chakra to the universal mind. So that's bringing in the knowledge up the top there. So that'd make sense.
And the head center and the root center are like pressure centers. So the root is the one right down the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bringing the root is bringing the energy all the way up to the throat, and the head center is bringing it down to the throat so that it can come out and manifest or be expressed out of you. So you spoke about being in your head all the time. So you can see when you look at your head and your ajna, very defined area of your body chart.
Yeah.
And then you've got a big gap in energy. So you can see next we're going to go to the throat center. And
not much going on there.
No. So you've got this whole section here.
Yeah.
Where we're not linked up.
Yeah.
There's no energy linking it up, which would makes sense that you would spend a lot of time in your head. And so I would suggest for you to, but we want to be able to link our energy, because
Yeah.
it's going to, we want this energy in your head to come down into your body, and also for that body energy to come up. And so being around lots of people, in community with people, just going for your morning walks and walking past different auras, you're going to be collecting this type of energy, which will help to kind of link you up, so to speak. So the throat center is the next one, and you have an undefined throat, which means that you just have not a consistent way of talking or articulating what you want to say.
Well, that makes that sense. Oh, yeah, and that is me. I don't articulate my words real well, but I am learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's about, being able to, you will adapt to how you talk, kind of depending on who you're talking to or your audience is. For example, somebody like me, I've got a defined throat. I'm going to speak with that same consistent energy all the time, whereas you're going to be, depending on who you're around and who's in your environment, you might speak very differently, because you are borrowing other people's energies when you're in their space,
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're a bad talker. That's not what it means. But
I've had to work on it.
Yeah. I think communication is a skill that we can all learn.
Yeah.
Yes, and the not self theme. So if you're really out of alignment with the throat center, is I want to tend, if and you've got it open, so it's like, looking through the glass shop at a new shiny car that you want and you can't have.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's on the other side of that glass is, in the throat center department, is attention. I want, like, if we talk about the movement that you're trying to create right now, it's like, I really want potentially that attention to create this movement. Or if you're in a conversation, in a community, like, whether it's in your podcast or somewhere else, the not self theme is, I want the attention. Please give me attention.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You told me to give it to you, so.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's fine. I want my attention back, so keep going.
Exactly. And so then we move on to the G center now. And the G center is the big, if it's colored in, it's usually colored in yellow. It's the diamond in the chest. And this is your direction in life. It's about love, it's about self-identity and your path. And if we don't have it defined, it means that you're here to experience many different paths and go down many different paths and taste many different things, and
sounds like me.
And have many different identities. And
don't bring, you're not allowed to say that.
Oh. For example, what's really important for you is that you have a good environment to live and to work in. Because if your environment, you literally do become your environment with an undefined G center. So if you set your environment up that is good for you, then you'll thrive. But you'll notice if you're starting to feel like, oh, I don't know what's best for me, or, just feeling held back in some way, potentially maybe you'd want to have a look at, or you don't know what direction to go or what have you, just have a look at your environment, which includes those people around you as well, right?
Yeah.
And so you may have, if you reflect back on your life so far, you might be aware of how, you have been in some environments that just weren't helpful for you, and therefore you probably found it really difficult to move or have any sense of direction, or but yes, you become your environment. And then we move over to the little tiny triangle to the right of that, and that's called the ego, or the will center. Before we move on to that, do you have any thoughts or questions or feedback?
No, that's all. It's all, yeah, it's pretty well, yeah, what it is, I suppose. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So if someone at home is going to, you can actually do your own chart. There's heaps of free websites out there. If you know your time of birth, place of birth, date of birth, you just plug those details in, and your chart will come up, and you'll get a body graph. And so if you want to listen along to all of these centers, you'll be able to know, if yours is defined or undefined. If somebody has a defined G center, they have pretty much one path that they're going to go down. Whereas like even if we just reflected on your life and the tiny little bit of your life that I know, Troy, and what I've got to work from is, was an electrician, is an electrician, now taking on a whole healthness rebellion. You can see
Taking on the world.
taking on the world in a completely different way.
Yeah,
you were lighting up the world, and now you're lighting up the world in a whole different way. But you can see the huge kind of jump, and I would say to a child, for example, that has an open G center, you needed to go down that path of being an electrician. And I would say to a child that has an open G center, don't ever feel like just taste it. See how far you want to take this thing. And then the next time you want to jump ship, you can. We're really stuck in that old paradigm of get a degree or get a trade, stick to it forever, die. And somebody with an open G center is not here to do that. So these are the types of things that you asked earlier about the if I had children, if we knew about them for young. And this is what I am saying to my one child that has an open G center, is I am saying to her, well, you want to be a paramedic? Great, awesome. But just know that you're going to go down that path, and you can change at any time. Imagine just the kids knowing that, oh, I'm not trapped in this at any, I think that there's this kind of pressure that we have over us anyway. So the little tiny triangle is the ego. It's the willpower. This is the first one that kind of, for me, I was just like, oh, I needed to hear that, because I don't have mind defined either, like you.
Yeah.
And it's when we don't have it defined, we feel like we haven't done enough. We're not good enough. We need to read another book. We need to, be healthier. Be more of everything that we possibly can think of. We want to just be more of it, and feel like we don't have enough. And because if somebody's got a defined heart, they have, they don't really understand the rest of us, because they're like, I've put my mind to it. I'm just going to get up and I'm just going to go and I'm just going to do it. And they just do it. And they don't understand why people can't just do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's because we don't have the will to do it all the time. So I want to be the healthiest version of myself that I can possibly be, 100%. But not every day do I have the will to do 10,000 steps, or, to eat healthy, or whatever it is. Like, and for me, that was very liberating, because I used to be all black and white. Like, I've got to do this thing and I'm going to take on this challenge and I'm going to make sure that I just built different. And I could never make myself be built any different to what I am. And because I'd be 3 days into the challenge and go, oh, really? Do I have to do this? Did I sign up for this? Abort mission. And it's okay for us to, to just be gentle on ourselves. And I live really close to the ocean, and I'm like, you need to be swimming every day in that ocean. And so when I learned this about myself, because I love swimming in the ocean, but the pressure of it to make sure that I do it every day, like I wanted to be one of those people that do it every day.
Yeah.
So instead of swimming in the ocean every day, I say every time I go and swim in the ocean, because on our beach we have beautiful shells.
Yeah.
I'm just going to collect a lovely shell and I'll bring it home and I'll place it there. And every time I look at my little shell collection, I'm like, well, that's how many times I've been and swim in the ocean. So the intention is there still, and I'm not losing sight of how I want to live my life, but I'm not going to have the will to do it every single day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would that be most people though?
Yeah, that is most people.
Yeah. Because I find that's that's the, but that doesn't mean that we would just be lazy and don't do it then.
That's right.
It just means you've got to push a bit harder, does it?
Well, you can.
It just means you've got to do a bit more work, I think.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't come easy.
We can't. The thing about having an undefined ego is to know that you are enough exactly where you're at right now today. You're enough.
Yeah,
and
I think that's okay. But if just say that you were, I mean, it's all right for me because I'm quite fit at the moment. But if I was an unfit person and sitting on the lounge drinking beer, that probably wouldn't be the best advice, would it?
I think it has to come from a place of I'm enough first. Yeah. Because if I'm enough, then I'm going to really look after myself. But it's generally speaking, I'm not enough. I don't feel like I don't feel worthy. So then those behaviors come off the back of I don't feel worthy. The beer drinking, couch potato.
Yeah, I think maybe that's, some people have to just work harder. We're coming up to nearly an hour, so it's we'll have to.
Should I 2 times this?
Yeah, we better put it in a fast motion.
Okay. So we've spoken about the generator. That's the red square underneath. Yeah, we know that that's your life force energy. That's what makes you the generator. That's what gives you the energy to get up and do the things. And the reason why you're able to get up and stay fit and healthy is because that's your mission at the moment. you know.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm talking to people every day about being the healthiest version of themselves that they can be. So it's always front of mind for me as well, even though I don't have a defined ego. But I think I do it now with a more nurturing, loving touch, as opposed to you've got to get in there
Yeah.
and eat it.
You do it the ladies' way. I think I have to do it the men's way. Get up, get into it.
All right, maybe.
Yeah.
So we also spoke last podcast about the defined solar plexus, which was the brown
Yeah.
triangle on the right of the sacral. And that's what makes you an emotional. So that's you're going to run warm. You're going to be more, I suppose, be having more ups and downs. That though your particular type of emotional wave will just be a slow, steady incline. And for you, it would be building over time, like this pressure to get this message out. I've got to get this message out. And you get really excited about things, things are starting to happen and you can get really excited. And then there will be like a bit of a crash, and you drop down. And this is a really beautiful and important place for you to come if you don't think too much about it. If you get out of your head,
Yeah. But then what is it then? Then it start going again.
Then you start building again.
Yeah.
You start it's like, and what will when you come down, nothing's really happened to make that. You're just not feeling that pressure to make tomorrow, like your purpose and stuff. Like you build it. This is energy, right? So this got nothing to do with the impact that you're having. When you're down here, you've already made some great impact, and that's still going to grow. But this is the emotions that are happening within you. What happens is just that pressure drops off. That pressure to think about making it the desire. And it's really important that it comes back here, because then the pressure begins again, So just to know that when you do have those flat, it's hard, it's difficult, it's, I'm just not breaking through or something like that. Just know that this is just part of the process, and you don't need to, keep on forcing yourself. Just let yourself have a couple of rest periods so that the pressure builds again.
Yeah.
And so the root is the pressure center, and this is where that wave's being pushed on. And this is the pressure, to do. But people with a defined root are really good at being able to do and feel the pressure to do, and then rest, and really rest, and then keep going. Feel the pressure rise again, and go and do it. And then the last one that we haven't spoken about is the one on the very left, opposite the emotional and next to the sacral, and that one's called the spleen. And this is all about health and wellness and intuition and instincts and being spontaneous in the moment, listening to the cues of what's needed, and very people with a closed, defined spleen, should I say, feel very safe within themselves, within their body. You really trust your body to give you the signals that you need. Where somebody with an open spleen is going to feel a little bit more like, oh, what was that? Oh, a little bit more sensitive to picking up people's illnesses and the energy of illnesses as well, and holding on to things that they that are not good for them, like behaviors and things. Like you might find it really easy to be able to realize something's not working for me health-wise, so I need to change a few things, so I'll let that go, for example.
That's what I need to do. Are you saying, or is that with someone that's so with the closed one or the open?
No, that's you have it defined, so
Yeah.
you are more I don't know. I don't know because I don't have a defined spleen, but the best way I can describe it and the best way I know about it is that um surety of your body, or um yeah, connected to what your body needs in any given moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably about right. Well, all that
Yeah.
sounds yeah, it's all interesting, isn't it? We could probably talk all day about it. It looks like there's a lot more things on there, a lot of numbers and things. The
Yeah. There's a hell of a lot more, but
yeah, but
hopefully that just
that's a general overview for us.
yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Lucy, for running me through that. Yeah, you can only do so much in an hour, and it probably looks like it could be a 7 hour job.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what I think the little bite-sized pieces is enough for you and for anybody that's listening to this podcast that
Yeah.
hasn't heard about human design.
So
You
if
go
they went
to
to that genetic website,
yeah.
they could they just put in their date of birth and all that, and they'll get those colors, that chart up.
So I have a paid subscription. I
Yeah,
think with Genetic Matrix, you can do one chart. Like if you
yeah,
wanted to look up your partner's or your children's, I don't think you'd have to then pay.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you could go to Genetic Matrix and I think they give you one. Otherwise, if you just Googled human design chart, there's so many out there that do
Oh, right, yeah.
free charts.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. So if anyone's listening or watching, they can come here and get their own chart up and then go through and listen to Lucy as she's explained to me what I've got. And then, yeah, because it does sort of make sense
Hmm.
as you think about it, because it's got to compute in. So being that I'm in my head all the time,
Yeah.
so you'll have to work on it.
That
And
kind of makes sense, doesn't it? When we
yeah,
look at
well,
your
yeah,
energies of your body. Yeah.
yeah, and everyone's got their thing. And I think that would make life a lot easier. Like if you know what you got, and then I think too that if say the ego thing, in my head, because I'm in my head, I'm thinking that I I have to watch it because I could easily let because it's not defined, I could easily become lazy. That's how I feel it could be.
Oh, yeah.
Like it could
Yeah.
easily just say, I don't worry. Like that's most times, because I don't like getting up and doing all my exercise and doing all the stuff. I just do it because I know my body needs it.
Mm.
So I think that if you have got the ego thing not defined like me, that makes sense that that would be like that. And I think that you could easily, and maybe someone that is out of conditioned and not, that could be one of their things. So they need to understand it and then go, okay, then, well, no, I need to tick this box off in the morning and do that. I need to make sure I do my steps or something and be gentle about it.
Exactly.
But
And what I find very interesting is that you said, I bet you not many people have this one defined. Like you
yeah,
nailed it. Yeah.
yeah,
And it's so true. Yeah.
yeah,
And what I also find to work with your open ego, because of course, your health has to be of top value. It's
yeah,
very important that we stay and we know that we get results through consistency.
yeah,
But then if you know that you don't have an open ego,
yeah,
you need to be able to work with that
yeah,
so that
yeah.
you can create some consistency. So for
Yeah, you
me,
can't
what
just
I
rely
do,
on the consistency to come. Like I know
because
my
it
good mate
won't.
Craig, like he has no trouble at all about just going out doing his 20K run, or he just does this or does that. Like he has no problem. Like it's just like not for me. I was going, oh my God, I can't think of anything worse than and all the
I
thing. And
bet
even
you
going
he's
to the
got a
gym, like
defined ego.
I've never been a gym person or anything like that. And that would be why, because I need to, yeah, but if you know that at the start, well, then you would know that you need to make sure you stay on yourself and go, okay, don't let yourself become, it'll be easy to become fat and lazy, I think.
Yeah. But also don't sign up for a 10-day body boot camp at 5 in the morning if you know that you're going to hate it. Don't fall prey to the next new thing that's going to
Yeah,
save your day, but work it with you in the sense of, like, for me, what I do, I know I've got to work my body every day, but it looks different every day. I
yeah,
might go for a walk one day. The next day I might be in the gym doing weights. The next day I might go for a swim. And I know that if I'm just varying it up a bit, I'm kind of tricking myself. See?
yeah, yeah. Well, that all makes sense. Well, yeah, geez, that hour goes quick.
Yeah,
Whenever I talk to people, like, you think an hour, like an hour is a lot, but gee, it goes so fast.
I know.
Yeah,
But
and
you do.
that was so informative. Well, Lucy, so how would people get in contact with you if they want to come and get one of those extraordinary readings?
Thank you. So, yeah, you can come across to my website, lucyellis.com.au, where you can book in for a human design reading, which goes for an hour and a half. And I also do connection readings, which I absolutely love to do. So, connection reading is so for you and a partner or you and a child. Usually, I do them for relationships. And I look at how your energy blueprint and your partner's energy blueprint and overlay, and what's the love seat, what's the special energy that the two of you have in this time together.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
unreal.
big
Maybe
for every
if they did
relationship.
that before they got married, or maybe when they get married, then that could work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Or
it
you can
might
just
help.
bust through like me for 30 odd years,
Yeah, exactly. Same,
just
same.
cop the whip. Well, I'll have all those in the show notes for to make sure that so if you do want to contact Lucy and yeah, and if you do like these podcasts, thanks very much for listening. And if you could pass them around to other people, because we are trying to create a movement to raise the vibration of the planet, so we can have beautiful people like Lucy on to help people to realize that they have this incredible power and to understand their body and their energy system, and their life can just get so much better. So we can't do that unless we get the movement going. So also, if you want to come over to the Become Limitless community, that's free, and we have the challenges. You can pick your challenge there, Lucy. So you don't have to do the hard ones, or they can do whatever you like. Yeah, because we want to try and cater to everybody, just to do a bit more each day, just to one more step, and then by
I
the
like
before,
the little one percenters,
yeah, the little
Yeah.
1%,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah, well, thanks very much, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Lucy.
And thank you, Troy, for everything that you're doing. I think you're amazing.
Thank you.